The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Good morning to all of you watching us. It is a very special morning here in Uganda's capital, Kampala. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Alternative Dig Talk TV. My name is Kenneth Rwemirembe. Happy New Year to all our viewers. We are now in 2026 and we thank God that finally we are in this year. We continue to pray for you that may you achieve all your heart desires in this new year, and we continue to pray for you and thank you for always following us. This is the Mighty Drive show that runs Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and we always come in with the Mighty Global News updates, a special moment where we take you through the stories that are shaping the conversations in our country, Uganda, and even take you outside. We just learned that in Venezuela, the now former President Nicolas Maduro was brought in court in the United States of America. We have that information for you. What happens next? What will happen in Venezuela? Who is running the country right now? And many more stories, including our very own stories here in the country. Now to start right away, the Human Rights Network for Journalists has warned against the harassment of journalists in our country, Uganda. This comes just a few days after Ivan Mbadhi, the BBS terrifying journalist, was assaulted by police while covering the NUP campaign trail. And since then, several people have been coming out to criticize and condemn the acts of harassment, especially targeting journalists. And now the Human Rights Network for Journalists, a non-governmental organization that defends press freedom and promotes press freedom in the country, has warned and said that they will not keep quiet as these things are happening in the country, that journalists should be given that free space to express themselves and to tell stories if they are following the right principles of journalism, and that they should not be assaulted. Assaulting journalists disrupts the environment in the country and gives one-sided information, which prevents them from having balanced stories, and it puts their work at risk, even scaring away journalists from covering truth because of fear of losing their lives and being assaulted like we saw. While speaking, the one Ivan Mbadhi, who was assaulted, as you're seeing on that screen, said as journalists, they will not give up. They will continue doing their work, and he promised that if all goes well, he will sue the police for what happened on him and how he was assaulted. And the NUP team has come out to condemn these acts of harassment, especially on journalists. Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu said that this should stop in the country, that it is an attempt to silence the voices of Ugandans, and that everyone should stand strong against this issue of harassment of journalists. Harassment of journalists continues to be a very critical issue here in the country, and even at the global level. Some journalists are being killed and others beaten. This puts their work at risk, and we continue to call upon all stakeholders to make sure press freedom is defended. Now, away from that, the Electoral Commission yesterday received the third consignment of 246 ballots containing ballot boxes. These ballot papers are for district chairpersons and other local government elective posts. The Electoral Commission said that this is proof that they are prepared to now conduct a free and fair election. Through the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, Julius Muchungs, they said as the Electoral Commission, they have done their part, and they are still doing what is expected out of them, that most of the ballot papers have already arrived in the country. that have all the ballot papers for now in their stores. Only they are remaining with those for the special interest groups, which they expect in the coming week. And now they have promised that every process has been transparent. The Electoral Commission has proved to the world and to the citizens of Uganda that they are ready to conduct now a free and fair election, that everything is ready. It's we now get closer to the 2026 general elections, 15th of January, which is just a few days from now, just 80 days to that D-Day. The Electoral Commission has confirmed that they have almost all the ballot papers needed now, like for the president, the members of parliament. Most of them are already in the stores of the Electoral Commission, and that they are now waiting for the ballot papers for the special interest groups, and that this will be done in the coming year. That is it from the Electoral Commission, and that everything will be done very well by the Electoral Commission. They assure the country that this process is being handled critically and everything will be done in the right way. Now, the NUP yesterday, as they continue to hold their campaigns and as we near the 2026 general elections, like I have told you, the NUP team yesterday was in Amudat and was expected to go to the areas of Moroto and Napak, but this did not happen. After campaigning in Amudat, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and his team were now blocked from accessing Moroto and Napak, but the NUP team said they had to comply with the police and let them do what they wished. Of course, they were bitter about it, saying that all these are attempts to silence the National Unity Platform and to keep them away from accessing the people and telling them their agenda. But the police said that time had elapsed. It was just 10 minutes to 5 p.m. that they could not allow them to conduct campaigns beyond that time, and that the journey from Amudat now to Moroto and Napak was going to take longer than the time that was remaining for closure of all campaigns as directed by the Electoral Commission. But the NUP says all attempts have always been made to make sure they do not speak to their people, they do not push their agenda to more and more people. But he still insisted and talked to those who were just on the way, and still said that others would get the information online as he was giving his message regarding the National Unity Platform. He urged them to vote the NUP, to vote the umbrella wherever they see that symbol, and that it is the only hope for Ugandans. They should not wait for any other thing from the now current government of President Yoweri Museveni, that the NUP is ready to quench their thirst and give them all that they desire. We still expect that he will go to Kanungu after the Karamoja region, and now to Kanunga and Mbarara. That is the NUP campaign trail as expected. The pressure is continuing to rise higher and higher as the 2026 general elections just come very close and close. And we urge you all Ugandans to turn up in large numbers and vote. Please do not misuse your voice. Go and vote, and please vote wisely. Do not vote because you're voting your brother, your sister. Just vote because the person you're giving your vote is the right individual for that office. Do not vote because they have given you gifts or money. Please use your voice wisely. Remember, this opportunity comes once in just 5 years. As DigTalk TV, we continue to call upon all of you Ugandans to turn up and vote. Please be calm. Do not be violent in that process. Vote calmly and maintain peace wherever you go. Please, it matters. Your voice matters. Go and vote. That's the message from the alternative DigTalk TV. And of course, we pray that we have peaceful elections. We urge all Ugandans and all of us to be very peaceful in this period, not to hurt or harm our fellows in this process. Elections will come and go, but Uganda will stay. And you and I will have to stay to witness the goodness of God and what planet Earth has to offer. Likewise, Mafabi, Nathan Nandala Mafabi, Honorable, now the presidential candidate for the Forum for Democratic Change, was also in Lubaga, but he was tear gassed by the police, saying that the police was saying that they had some goons within their camps that were stealing phones, and now the police came in and tear gassed them, blocking them from continuing with their campaign trail. However, Honorable Nathan Nandala Mafabi came out and said that they do not move with such people in their campaign trails, and that all these are just false allegations and accusations on the FDC, and that they are not ready to surrender. They are continuing their gospel, calling upon all Ugandans to vote the Forum for Democratic Change and vote Honorable Nathan Nandala Mafabi. And President Museveni still was also in Kawempe, urging Ugandans to vote the National Resistance Movement and protect the gains achieved so far, amid criticism from several people who say that there are no gains to protect and that the gains are in the hands of a very few. But the NRM insists that they have achieved a lot for this country and that it is now time to protect those gains, encourage wealth creation among Ugandans. He talked of the government initiatives that have been put in place to make sure they empower the youth, they empower people, like the parish development model and other initiatives of the government, where we have seen the skilling hubs being put in place to skill the youth and enable them get skills that can give them some income, give them some money if they can start something with the skills acquired from these skilling hubs. That all of these have been attempts by the National Resistance Movement government to support Ugandans and to elevate their financial status, and that now it is time for Ugandans to reward the National Resistance Movement, vote them back into office, and now enable development to continue as they leap into now the middle income status. That if they vote the NRM back into office, Uganda will become a middle income state, meaning that economically Uganda will be better than it is right now and be recognized among those fairly developed countries in the world. That is it from the National Resistance Movement. As I told you, the pressure is mounting. We're just counting 8 days to now the polling, the 15th of January. Who will be your leader? Please, it is your opportunity right now. Digital TV reminds you that the days are getting numbered now. Very few days remaining, just like a week now. Please turn up and vote, and please vote wisely. Now, away from our local stories and the international scene, President Nicolas Maduro was captured from his country, Venezuela. He's now the former president of Venezuela, and we saw that he was brought into in court in the Lower Manhattan Court in New York, and he faced the judges to answer some. But he was asked whether he was pleading guilty or not guilty regarding the narco-terrorism charges that were put on him. But he said he is not guilty. Pleaded not guilty. The wife, Celia Flores, also pleaded not guilty. However, the pressure is still mounting. In his words, President Nicolas Maduro said, "I am the president of Venezuela. I consider myself a prisoner of war. I was captured at my home in Caracas." Of course, the judge cut him off, but he said, "I am an innocent and decent man." That was Maduro. But inside Venezuela, the pressure is mounting. The Venezuelans are coming out in large numbers to protest this capture of their president. They still recognize him as their president. We saw now the sitting president, who has been the vice president, coming out. That is Delcy Rodriguez. She came out and condemned the acts that were done by the United States of America, capturing their president. And still, Delcy Rodriguez, who's now the vice president, said as Venezuelans, they still consider Nicolas Maduro as their president and Celia Flores as their first lady. This is promoting tension in the country, as the United States government was saying that they are preparing to run Venezuela for the meantime, but this seems to be now close to impossible. According to the situation, the internal resistance within the country is showing that this could result into more chaos in the country and bring about an instability if the current government in Venezuela, led by Delcy Rodriguez, continues to oppose the forces from the United States of America. You've been a good viewer. The Mighty Drive continues. I am Kenneth Remirembe Rwasimbira. Good morning.